You've got to keep it simple. So you've got to start with what's the objective of what you're trying to achieve, first of all, with social media. So if you're clear on your objective, then you'll obviously know what hopefully your KPIs are. So if I'm trying to drive traffic or drive sales, then that is the first KPI that you should use. Then everything else that should contribute in the data sense, in the measurement sense, is a metric that you use whenever you need to, when your objective is not being hit. If that makes sense. The way we actually challenge it with 3 is very much stick to your simplicity of what you're trying to achieve, your objective. That KPI is the core measurement. All the other measurements are useful, but you don't need to use them all the time. As soon as you dive into the detail about thinking, okay, social media, I've got all of these different things going on, do I measure them all the time? You get lost. So stick with the core objective in which you're trying to achieve. So traffic, acquisition, number of customers served, etc. They're the things that you should bear in mind. The rest is useful when it applies. Okay, so whether you invest more or less in social media will depend on what you're using it for and how easy you are measuring it. But to me, if you take an acquisition type of environment for social media, if you're clear about the cost of acquiring a customer, then actually that conversation, if there's a cost of acquiring a customer from any other sort of marketing, then actually it's a fairly simple conversation. So you know, from an acquisition perspective, actually you rely on your data. If it's actually about something that's less tangible, then actually it does rely on the influence in the business, how your employees actually have perceived it, sold it in, showed how it works. And that is one of the, I mean, it's a fantastic challenge for any businesses. You know, where does social media sit? No one really knows, everyone puts it in different places. But I don't think that's a worry or a concern yet, because we've got to experiment and learn. And that is actually probably what answers a lot of questions about investment, is if you do try things and you can show what's happened, changed, benefited, not benefited in the learnings, then you can help educate senior managers in exactly what they believe or should believe is the right way forward in terms of an investment. My initial thoughts are it's not really any different, and I might be treading on dangerous ground here, to any new skill. And I think the challenge is not to over-engineer the problem. It's a new area. If it's a new area to your business, it's new. Accept that. Therefore, you need to start small, focused. You need to be clear about what you're trying to get it to achieve. And then, like we did at 3, we recruited a small group of people to do it. And the responsibility of that group of people wasn't to come up with the answer. It was to start evolving the problem. So, you know, you obviously select the right skills in that moment of time. So call it a first year when you're setting up a social media entity. Do you want to have a load of social media experts, or actually do you need a bit of a combination of someone that knows how to set things up? So actually the skill set for social media at the beginning might not be social media. It might be, how do you start something from afresh? How do you set your objectives? How do you get buy-in? How do you manage, you know, kind of resourcing in a high pace, as you've already described, and also in a brand new environment? So I think actually we spent a year at 3 deliberating, and the best learning we had was start, don't panic, just start somewhere, and the resources will start to evolve with it, and the skills, of course, with it.